This is the Let's Unpack That podcast. I'm your host, Lyall Behrens.
I am your co-host, Matthew Ryan Anthony Duckett.
Oh, I didn't realize you introduced yourself now. I didn't realize we did that. All right.
I guess we may as well.
Fucking right. It's like when you have a girlfriend and she's like, yes, I'm part of this now. And you're like, all right, bitch. All right, fine.
So, yep. I'll tag you on the Instagram post. Minimum 3 photos from the vacation trip.
Matt Duckett is here. Our lovely producers, Ralph, Danny, Brandon are here. We've been away. We didn't do an episode last week.
Yeah.
Luckily, we still got the folks covered. But you had yourself a little trip.
Yeah.
That's why we couldn't record.
I had a little expedition, little leisure time in New Mexico.
By the way, before you tell us how it went real quick, could I kind of just guess how it was?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so here's how I think it went. I think you was on your Delta flight. They put you on the little small plane, because I know it's a small plane because not a lot of people go to Albuquerque. Where'd you fly into?
Yeah. Albuquerque.
Not a lot of people go to Albuquerque.
Okay.
I feel like there was like at least some white dude in sunglasses making Breaking Bad references the entire time. I feel like you heard like a few Breaking Bad jokes. Am I?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, you're 100% spot on so far.
So you get there, right? And then I feel like, you guys, because you guys traveled around the state, right?
Yeah. We bounced around.
I feel like you guys had sex 2 times because you guys were too busy traveling around. I don't feel like you guys had a lot of sex this trip.
I hate how. Why are you getting all this right?
Then I feel like there was probably like a plan. Well, because I've been
Am
in like
I this predictable of a man? Am I?
No, we gonna get to that with everybody. Like but I was also in a 4-year relationship, so like I know. Right. So it's like then I feel like you guys probably had planned to like. I felt like you guys went out to the desert. You like you got one of them like artistic white girls, so she was probably like, Matt, take a picture of me naked in the desert because white girls like doing that.
Didn't go to that.
Well, that's
level.
my fantasy. Not with showgirl, just in general.
Yeah, we went to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, which is close enough.
Okay,
yeah.
And I feel like you guys maybe had a planned sex thing. Then I feel like you guys had like a real Southwest meal, like chili relleno.
Oh yeah.
Refried beans, and he was like, we cannot fuck after eating this.
yeah. There was definitely a lot of we're too full to do anything,
and then
let alone fuck.
And then I feel like you guys went to a place where some sort of like kind of like antique hippie store, like the part of New Mexico that's kind of like Austin.
Yeah, that's just the entire city of Santa Fe.
So you guys went to some spot in Santa Fe, and then you guys tried on hats, and you're like. And she just put hats on you like white girlfriends do. Like, here, try this hat. You're my little bellhop. And you sat there with no expression, like, and took selfies. Mm-hmm. And then you got some jewelry, and you probably met one Native American, and you probably at some point went, you're not really Native American. All right, is that the trip?
Pretty close. The first 3 things that you hit on were scarily accurate. The Breaking Bad, the Delta flight, the number of times of intercourse. We met a lot of Native Americans. I mean, New Mexico is it's like one of like 6 states where the majority of the population is a minority. But it was great. I mean, yeah, Santa Fe is basically just like a scaled down Austin, which was cool. Really friendly people, just like hippy dippy white folks, and then some Latino folks hanging out and shit. So it was a really good time. Yeah, we did a lot of shit. Went to one of the national parks, fucked around in the desert.
You do drugs?
What was that?
You do drugs?
Oh no, we didn't do anything. Yeah, we did mushrooms in Joshua Tree back in August, but we had like a 3.5-hour drive.
Mushrooms has really embraced the black community. Yeah. Or black communities embrace mushrooms.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were a very non-hallucinogenic people for a while. After Hendrix died, everyone was like, all right, I guess we need to stop doing this.
I feel like that started a few years ago. Like, yeah. I feel like it was either like Cuddy or I don't know when black people started embracing Schoolboy Q. It was like one of them like...
Yeah, it was like...
One of them niggas, like it was one nigga that was dyeing their hair and one nigga whose beard didn't connect. Mm-hmm. And like they were both performing at music festivals and then black people were like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, that and septum piercings really came at the same time for black people. It was a big moment for us.
Yo, what does it say? Because like as far as like hard drugs go, like the most I've ever done is like a Xan, a Percocet,
Mm-hmm.
and I assume the hardest drug you've ever done is shrooms.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably prescribed a Percocet at some point for like my wisdom teeth.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
By future.
Yeah. But is this supposed to come in styrofoam cup?
I will not drink lean. That shit is liquid heroin, even though I'm double cupping this wine.
Hey, we all have our vices, and sometimes they're all purple.
That's good. So if you were to guess, what do you think I did last weekend?
Last weekend,
Like if you were just to guess, like what did Lyall do?
Liked a bunch of booty pics on Instagram. Slid into DMs of said booty picker. Yeah, probably just sent off, a couple of nasty ass messages on the dating apps and probably hooked up with somebody and cooked some Caribbean food.
Ballpark. Yeah, ballpark. I still do comedy. I did I had a show Friday,
Nice.
and then Sammy was working out a special, so I went with him to like Laugh Factory in Long Beach and
Oh, right on.
and just rolled around watching him work it out.
Good
and
shit.
and then it was like Saturday or something. There's this free jewelry out here. Anytime a nigga says free jewelry, they about to tell you some basic shit. Like it's like, free jewelry. Get your song on a Spotify playlist. It's like, no, duh, nigga. Everybody knows that. But one thing that this like I've been into is I really like grabbing a drink in Beverly Hills because I always meet some people that could maybe potentially do something for me.
Oh, right, yeah.
I love going to like Honor Bar is like my spot now.
Okay.
I like going to Honor Bar because Honor Bar is like a bistro. All they sell is sushi and chicken sandwiches, and then next door to it you can get like wine and you can open it, no corkage fee, and then next to it, there's like a really nice steakhouse. And I met like a dude that works at the steakhouse. And he told me like, yeah, rappers and like G Herbo be coming in and shit. I'm like, oh, where? Like what do they be ordering? And he's like, honestly, rotisserie chicken.
Hey, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with a Costco $5 rotisserie, man. That fueled my entire college education.
Facts, but I mean, it's not like the Costco. It's like you go into a steakhouse and get rotisserie chicken. And I asked him about that, and he's like, well, honestly, a lot of the black and brown people with money, they get well done steak and fruity drinks. And I'm like,
well done steak. That's just the same.
Did you hear the story? Chris Webber apparently he was at a steakhouse, and it was a story at the time, and I guess he asked for like ketchup with his steak, and it was like a thing that sparked this whole like class debate, and then people explain like, we have to understand in our communities the meat is not as fresh, so we must cook it longer. That is why we do not trust the
Open up the third eye of your cow brain, my brother.
Anyways, that was ballpark for my weekend.
Okay, for sure.
I kind of want to guess our producers' weekends real quick before we get in their segments. I feel like Ralph. I feel like this past weekend, I feel like you just looked at I feel like you looked at some cars on the internet and you're like, yeah, I need that. I was like, I need that.
Okay. Based on that laugh, I think you got it. I
felt like you just like indulge in some capitalism, and then I feel like you went to some spot where somebody was DJing and you just looked at everybody and you was like, I need to fix this. And then you walked out and you sent off 5 emails. Brandon, I feel like Brandon, he's woke up, cleaned his guns, practiced his militia moves for the takeover, said a prayer to his Asada Shakur poster, then did combat training and raised his kids. Danny, I don't know what the fuck you do. Danny's like the...
I feel like Danny never leaves this room. Danny's like an NPC in a video game where like they don't exist until you walk into the space in the game. So like if you break the game and you like run into the room, he'll just like pop up. Like if you run in really fast, you just Danny existed in the metaverse. Well,
I'm the innkeeper. I'll sell you hearts and potions.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Danny's like what we thought teachers wore when we were in elementary school. Like, don't they live here? They have lives. Like,
oh fuck, that's funny.
So, Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, man. World War III.
Yeah.
It's it's a hell of a time. You know, like obviously it's obviously it's a major event. No, no, my whole thing though was like it's just like the response that people have to it. You know, it was so visceral, and it's like the only reason why it's such like a widespread thing right now is because the city that's getting attacked looks like an American. It's a modern city. You know, it's like you can go onto YouTube and watch 20 kajillion videos of like a Middle Eastern country or people just getting fucking absolutely rocked by our government, and we like barely blink an eye.
But it's the desert, so we're just like, oh, it looks like Santa Fe was getting attacked.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, but the moment a JCPenney gets blown up, we're like, oh my god. And I'm guilty of it too. Like if there was a video of like a Nike shop getting blown up, I would like lose my eyes. Not the Jays. Like I would. It wouldn't be a good time. I would not have
be a Popeyes in a strip club for me. Like, oh, the chicken and bitches! Oh my god, we gotta do something.
Please, Biden, call on the forces. But yeah, I mean, you know, much love to our Ukrainian listeners, if there are any. But yeah, I mean, shit is absolutely fucked. My theory is that Putin is like he's like terminally ill,
and he wants to leave his mark.
Yeah, he's trying to do his life after death.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I think he's trying to cement a legacy.
This is like his masterpiece. Like, this is him going, let me really put it down for the set.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was watching this thing in Obama. It was like some retrospective with Obama. Obama says something to the effect of, you know, like how they would have ward bosses and like Chicago. Putin always reminded me of a ward boss. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I think that's accurate.
I mean, like motherfuckers like riding horses with his shirt off, and it's like he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
In some ways, he kind of is the closest thing to T'Challa. Like in the sense where it's like you run a country, but you also playing soldier.
Yeah. It's definitely harkening back to like the older times where like the king or whatever was supposed to be trained in combat and shit. But I mean, like obviously the dude's like 5'2". Prince could fucking beat him up. Prince now, not even when he was alive, dead Prince. Kick that guy's ass. Nah, but it's a fucked up situation, obviously. But like, it's interesting to see the response now that it's a bunch of white people that are in the middle of this conflict and this strife.
All right, so now let's get into what our podcast is really about.
Yeah.
Since you say that, is this the? No, go ahead.
Oh,
before I get messy.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
So is people can because we saw there was like an NBA game recently with the Nuggets and the Kings where they locked arms before the game because the Kings starting center is Ukrainian. And my thing is like, is this because you know the NBA likes to do that social justice? They'll do that for anybody but China, whoever China's fucking with. They're like, all right, we want your money.
Yeah.
But is this rush? Is us like being sympathetic towards like the Ukraine? Is this like the closest we're gonna get to White Lives Matter?
I mean, yeah, I mean, what are we gonna say? It's you know, they say white lives matter, but when it's white people killing white people. They're not around. No. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, people, you know, you see yourself in other people in other situations because it's a majority white, quote unquote Western country, you know, that's being attacked. There's gonna be a more there's gonna be a bigger response from other Western white countries. That's just the way it is. So yeah, I mean, You can label it White Lives Matter for sure because it's what's happening.
All right. Let's continue to get. I don't even want to say get messy. I just want to say get blacker.
Mm-hmm.
So remember when Donald Trump basically was like, I don't know if it's off the record, but he basically said like, we got all these people from these brown countries coming in, and I wish we had more white Norwegian bitches coming in.
Yeah,
He's like, how come we don't have more Polish and whatever the fuck he said? Yeah, and all them from like
very northern blonde.
The place where they make like 6 foot blonde white bitches. Yeah, he's like, how come we can't have them? Why we got these like 5'4" Honduran dishwashers coming in?
Yeah,
what the fuck? We got enough.
He was making a call for the Heidi Klum Emporium for sure.
Definitely. You know, I'm more of a Margaret Robbie Emporium myself, but so he was saying that shit, and my thing is just like, is this like why we care? Because it's like it's white. Because it's like, because black people, we naturally, especially older black people, and like especially because I remember when it was like the Asian hate thing going on with COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, and you had like, because a lot of dumb Gen X niggas talk out their ass on social media. Like I saw shit where it's like everybody talking about this stop Asian hate. Well, I didn't see them putting up signs for Black Lives Matter. It's like, well, actually they did, nigga. Like, it's like they did. Yeah. It's like the Filipinos, the Koreans, the Chinese were there. There was like they were there.
Yeah, plenty of black squares on their Instas.
But in this situation, I don't want to say should black people care, but really, should niggas care about a place where, let's be honest, if we went there, I don't think they'd be the nicest to us. I've seen, because I do these things, like when I like to travel, I look at like best places for black people to travel to. Russia is not one of them. And I'm going to assume the Ukraine is not too different.
Oh, definitely not. No, Eastern Europeans are very blunt and direct about their racism.
Hungry. I had a Hungarian girlfriend, and she like really wanted to go there, and she was a Jew, and she was like, let's go. And I saw a 60 Minutes report about how they don't even fuck with Jews in Hungary, and I'm like, and you want my black ass to go?
Yeah.
No,
any of the Eastern European countries, you're gonna be putting yourself in a situation for sure. If you wanna go to a pasty white place that is like, oh, black people are perfectly cool to come here. You're looking at Scotland. You're looking at Ireland.
Wait! You studied abroad in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was good. There was no racism.
Really?
No.
Did they know you were black? Like, did you?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
did you do a little putting at it, Coonan? You putting at it up?
I might have putting headed it a little bit while I was.
How did you putting head? Like, did you just like walk around with a basketball? Because if I were to picture you, I don't feel like you would change your voice. I feel like you would just walk around like Finding Forrester. Like,
I mean, I was dominating the
working on a paper
in the rec center. It was like,
okay,
yeah. I mean, I went into the rec center and dunked a basketball, and they're like, okay, well, clearly something is up with this guy. This hasn't happened before. We didn't even know you could do that. Yeah, no, it was cool. Ireland's super friendly, welcoming people, and even just talking to like some of the immigrant folks that were there, they were like, yeah, it beats the shit out of being, wherever else where they might not be treated as well. Because there was some African migration there. But like, in Scotland, they're just like, all of their hatred is wrapped up in England and the British, that they don't have time to be mad at other races.
Black bastard.
Yeah. Walked around the streets of Ireland looking for a black bastard. Yeah, we're long away from the Liam Neeson days of walking around with the lead pipe.
Looking for 4 niggas.
Yeah. But at the same time, if he came across a black bastard, the odds are in 1970s Ireland, it was the black bastard.
Yeah.
Odds are high. But yeah. Ireland, Scotland, Portugal, because it's, diverse or whatever, I think is.
All right. So my litmus test for like racism, like if an area is racist that I'm not in, is I like to go to the bar. Because I feel, especially like when I do a road gig, the first place I go to is the bar, because that's how you can get a feel for the area and the city.
That's what we did in New Mexico. We just hit up like 3 bars and breweries just back to back to back, just to get the vibe of the city.
Don't do that shit with me, but okay.
Well, we don't go anywhere together. Mr. Bahamas in a fucking month.
Look, all I know is we know each other for 10 years, man. We know these. Brandon, you mic'd?
Yes, we are, Mike.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Get the wait. Say what you say real quick so it can get on.
I said you guys are in a relationship.
You goddamn right. We like a fucking disgruntled.
That wasn't all you said, though.
You're just pulling the condom off.
All right. Don't make it nasty now. Don't make it nasty. Like,
Gross.
Condom been off, nigga. All right. We don't pause. We press play over here. Can't even get you to have a drink here. Like we get done potting. Like, hey, what's going on with your life? And you just kind of like, Lyall, I know everything. I know too much already potting with you.
I don't need to get any deeper.
But yeah, okay. So Ireland. Okay, so like my thing is just like when I hear white people at the bar get, because I feel like white people really show who they really are when they're drunk.
Oh fuck yeah! Absolutely.
More than any other race.
Oh yeah, it's truth serum for sure.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, and, Ireland obviously has a giant drinking culture, so that's what I was doing.
And you didn't hear them say like anything.
No, I really didn't come across anything problematic. People were really wrapped up in the whole abortion thing when I was there. There's like a big referendum on abortion and gay marriage, and everyone. It's so funny because Ireland's so Catholic, but they're like, can we just let gay people get married and let women do what they want? It's not what you expect. The younger people just really don't give a fuck.
It's always good for white people to have their own problems.
Yeah. And the other thing with Ireland is they got their ass kicked by England for so fucking long that it's like, well, they see a black person, it's like, we kind of got the same thing going on here. Cromwell, General Lee, same guy, same situation. So
I guess overall my question for you, Matt, is when fucked up shit happens in places where it's kind of known, because there's certain places where it's known, like there are places that are very friendly for black travelers, like Brazil, the Caribbean, Canada. I hear, well, I guess Ireland now. I've heard some good things about Australia. I've heard we do well out there. Then
interesting.
I know one guy, but he's like a Hotep hood nigga that likes to travel, and he mainly travels for pussy. Right. Like he really like the way Anthony Bourdain travels for food. This nigga like travels for bitches, and he'll be like, "Yo, India, like they give you back rubs."
In Sydney, Australia.
yeah. And he was like,
at one of my favorite brothels. Now, what they do here that's so special.
And he an East Oakland nigga. He's like, "Yo, LY, oh, you know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't. The bitches wasn't fucking with Australia, but India, man, like I get myself a hotel, a driver for $29 and my feet rubbed and my dick sucked for 75 cents, nigga. Like, and I mean, but that's like his definition of good travel, which I mean, let's be honest, like I'm not saying for black men, but it's like, like what do you really travel for other than like food, pussy, some views, like
enlightening cultural experiences.
But what is an enlightening cultural experience though? You know what I mean?
I don't know, a fucking museum. You don't have to get your knob rubbed to be like, the people here are great.
Okay, but maybe to some people that makes people great.
Oh, certainly. I can't. There's not many people who have sucked my dick that I'd be like, that person is just truly awful. That'll warm you to a person pretty quickly. No, I hear you. People travel for their reasons.
Oh yeah, my point being though. So, but these places though where it's like, well, I've also heard India is difficult for us, but I guess if you're getting your dick sucked kind of sort, it's different.
Yeah.
But my point being though, these places that we hear about like China, Spain, Ukraine, Russia, wherever, where some bad shit happens there, but we hear about ball players that play overseas and how they get treated. We hear these stories. How much empathy should we really have when it's like, well, I know if I go to your country, I'm going to get treated worse there than I would in my own country? Because that's a big thing for black folk. It's like, oh, we travel over here. Oh, my God, I went to Israel. I didn't even feel black. It was beautiful. It's like.
Listen. Yeah, I think.
Wait, no. Let's unpack that real quick. What did that mean right there?
Listen,
Because we've heard niggas say that.
there is nothing worse than the black guy who doesn't see color. There is nothing worse than the black guy who refuses to be seen as.
Is that why you don't perform for the military?
There is nothing worse, Lyall. There is nothing worse than the reverse. There's nothing worse than the reverse pudding head. It is.
Yes.
Mike McDaniel, we were talking about it on the last episode. It's like, it is some frustrating shit to see a black person just be like, oh, just like go with whatever, man. And I identify as a human being first and foremost. It's just
Dolphins coach, yeah.
Yeah. Death grips. Come on.
No, but I'm saying like they acknowledge that race exists. I'm not talking about completely about those ones. They acknowledge that racism and race exists, but they go to a certain country. Like you had a lot of black jazz musicians in like the 50s, 60s, and even 40s where they would go to Paris and they'd be like, I'm not seen as black. I'm seen as... It also helped that they had like a really good skill because they were just like a dishwasher. It'd be like, nigga, there's still crust on this plate. But it helped that it was like fucking brilliant.
Yeah, LeBron's not going to China and people are like yelling slurs at him. He's like LeBron. But yeah, I mean, obviously.
But you saw the video that went viral on Twitter of them yelling slurs at like some guy for the Shanghai Sharks or whatever.
Yeah. So it's like obviously you don't want to go somewhere and just be like constantly harangued and harassed about being black. But it's not about what my reaction to that wasn't about like the way that black people get treated in a certain country. It's just the reaction of that black person when they come back, like saying some shit like that. It's just like
it's beautiful. I didn't experience race.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's like, nigga, you stayed at a good hotel.
Yeah, it's like what happened. It's like when people come up to me like, well, everyone's gonna look like you in 40 years. It's like this is all the same weird language that it's just like, no, it's not that. That's not the goal.
Yo, it's funny what Brandon said that me and Matt are like in a relationship. Cause I'm talking to a bitch that kind of look like she could be Matt's sister. Like right now. Nigga, don't make it nasty. Like she also got some Asian in her, all right? Like so she different enough. But I'm saying
just another person who's miscellaneous in the face. It's all
that's all I mean. Like
yeah.
You know what Obama said I think it was 2012 in an Atlantic interview?
What, Danny?
To your point earlier, like should black people give a fuck about what's going on in Ukraine? That was essentially his point of view. He's like, who the fuck gives a shit about what goes on in Ukraine? Anybody who wants us to go fight Russia over Ukraine, let them speak first.
Could you please pull up the exact quote? We're going to keep talking, but could you pull up that exact quote and let us know you have it?
Yeah.
So Matt, like, should we care though when that happens?
I mean, obviously we should care. We should give a shit.
Why should we care though? Outside of like global commerce and all that stuff and how it all affects
I mean, just out of like a basic empathy thing, you don't want to see a bunch of people get blown the fuck up who don't deserve it. And, that's the thing about war is that the people who suffer the worst ramifications are the people who deserve it the least, right? So
agreed.
My point is certainly not we shouldn't care about what's going on. It's just it's very interesting to see the visceral reaction when a perceived Western conflict arises. When every day you can go on and look at a news article and see like a hospital in Yemen got blown up. You know? So that's all I'm saying is like, put the energy that we're putting into this, we should be putting into, other things. But if someone wants to be like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about global conflicts and I'm more worried about what's going on like here, I'm not going to tell, I'm not going to post anything on social media.
You're not going to change your profile pic to the Ukraine flag.
Yeah, but like I'll donate to the Ukraine Red Cross and that sort of thing. I'll keep it low key.
Oh, really? Will you, brother? But will you donate to Crenshaw High and Autobahn?
Mr. Hustle, I shouldn't make it. I was gonna make a Nipsey Hussle joke. Let's just edit this part out.
We in LA, nigga. Yeah. Pull it back. Yeah.
We will cut this.
There we go. Yeah. I'm glad this nigga reminded himself where he's at. All right, so.
All right. 3, 2, 1, back to normalcy.
So. Okay. So that's fair. I'm gonna say, and let me get even, because this may be a little sociopathic of me, but let's indulge. I feel like black people would be better off if we was just a little bit more evil. Because, like, white people are really, really good at being evil, you know? And when I say evil, I don't mean evil in a way of, like, you know, I'm going to fucking rape and pillage. I don't mean Christopher Columbus, but I just mean, like, yeah, fuck it, dude. Fuck it. Like, you know, you've had white girlfriends. I've had white girlfriends. And I'm going to tell you, it's the things the white girlfriends show me that the Mexican girlfriends didn't show me. You know, the Mexican girlfriends, when they was done and decided they wanted to be some bitches, I always felt like it was because I probably earned it. When the white girls wanted to be some bitches, I felt like it was coming from a slave ship. I felt it was coming from some, like, devil DNA. When the Mexican girlfriends want to be bitches, it was just like, you know, it's like, yeah, that's just because you Mexican and you would be just, yeah.
Well, we do know that trauma is passed down genetically. So then the question is do the inflictors of said trauma pass that down genetically? But yeah, I mean, there's always a racial undertone in a situation.
What I'm saying, Matt, is I think black people, we have built-in empathy. I think we have a lot of built-in empathy.
Absolutely.
We have Stockholm syndrome. We want to include people. We want to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, white people with like Black Lives Matter and as Ralph brilliantly put it, the Great Racial Awakening of 2020, like, they struggle. They're like, I gotta read this shit about how I'm
totally. No, I think just because, and again, it comes down to you know, how we came to this country and how we've been treated in the time that we've been here. There's a much higher emphasis. There was a necessity to build community and to build empathy because it was all we could fucking do to get by and try and establish some sort of agency inside of the country. Through I would definitely say through trauma, through just tribulation and that sort of thing, that those characteristics develop a lot more quickly. It's a lot easier to survive a difficult situation when you have another person going through it with you, right? And you can relate on that level. And yeah, I think I think there's an overwhelming amount of white people that just haven't had, certainly not on like the identity community level, have had that sort of experience. Yeah, I don't think that. I think that there's a lot of white people that just haven't been through enough to have developed those traits in like their adolescence and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a tough adjustment to get, like, you know, just like a random white dude to get past page 5 of Between the World and Me.
I also think that, like, black people should, like, not be required to go to diversity training or.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I think that's condescending and just like how dare you?
Yeah, it's not us. It is not our. Yeah.
That's why Ralph wouldn't hook me up with a job at Media Temple, because I was like, a Media Temple is this. It's basically like Baby GoDaddy.
Sponsor the podcast.
Yeah. And he was like, yo, out of pocket ass will not last 2 weeks. And I was like, you right. He said, just keep doing comedy and selling. Right. Just keep doing comedy. And anyways, yeah, man. So yeah, black people shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. We get it. I mean, you know, I get less of a pass on that, but I get some credit.
So let's keep things. No, you got something?
Oh, I was just gonna say. I guess the next order of business. What would a let's unpack that be without some discussion of basketball? And I think we have a pretty good.
You're really a co-host now. You introducing yourself. You setting up you stepping on my segues. Look at you. You're really a co-host now.
You were staring down your cup.
Why you niggas gotta keep making jokes about me being a functioning wino? Like everybody want to make jokes about it. Like, yeah, Lyall, he looks at his wine and says, "Are you still here?" You know.
Then don't bring 2 bottles and put them dead fucking.
I didn't even have that. Brandon and Danny got the last of the Montepulciano. All right, that's like that.
All right, we'll work through it in couples therapy. We'll look at it.
What you could stream on all services.
Yeah, that'll be on our Patreon as a counselor telling us to calm the fuck down. No, but we
don't even hang out, which makes this funnier. Matt's really just mad I'm late. I think that's all this is about. That's like mad, like, we only got 30 because Ralph has a made-up meeting again. So Ralph's just gonna look at like a used Ferrari and then just like and then just buy the leather. It's like, all right, just give me the leather and then put it in that motherfucker, and then I'm gonna get a paint job. Like
he'll look at an authentic game-worn Grant Hill. I'd be like, not right now. Now's not the time.
I can pick. All right, I was gonna say something like real suspect, but it made me laugh. I'm gonna say it later.
All right, Juwan Howard fucked up.
So Juwan Howard, yeah. Set us up.
Oh yeah. So Wisconsin was beating the shit out of Michigan, and Juwan Howard is the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines basketball team. Wisconsin calls a timeout with like 30 seconds left, which is a faux pas. It's a faux pas. It's to call a timeout and like work out a play with like your bench warmers and like your team's like manager or whatever who's getting on the court for the first time. Not the coolest thing to do. Juwan Howard took big time exception to it, and when the game ended,
because Michigan was getting blown out.
Yeah,
so
Michigan was getting red. Yeah, so it's like,
and for quick context, in basketball, there's like an unwritten rule even within the NBA where it's like if you're clearly about to win and you shoot a shot when there's like less than a minute left, it's like that starts a fight.
Basically, if you're winning by a lot, end the game as soon as possible. Anything that's perceived as trying to pile on or continue or prolong the game, it's like, what are you doing?
By the way, real quick before we do this, before I let you go on, Chris Webber said like, see, I don't like that because the time to get gangster was in the third quarter, and now you want to get gangster now? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that?
No, absolutely. It's like if you're losing the game, you're losing the game. Like you don't get to dictate the terms of your defeat. Like this isn't like a treaty signing after a war. You know what I mean? It's like we're done. It's whatever they want to do it. If somebody wants to throw down a fucking dunk at the end of the game, then that's their prerogative. If you didn't want it to happen, you shouldn't have lost by 20. But yeah, Juwan Howard gets pissed that the Wisconsin coach calls a timeout. Starts jawing with the coach. An assistant comes in from Wisconsin and starts barking back at Juwan. Juwan throws a punch, connects decently well. For a basketball fight, that was like an A- punch.
Yeah.
Like A+ will always be Kermit Washington just breaking Rudy Tomjanovich's face in the 70s. But like basketball fights usually suck. So for someone to connect on any level is pretty
Chris
good.
Childs got my guy Kobe.
Yeah. True. But yeah, Juwan punched the coach, and all the players and the coaches start piling up and like trying to separate and stuff like that. Michigan suspends Juwan Howard for the rest of the regular season, as if they're going to make the college basketball, as if they're going to make the tournament, which I really don't think that they are. But yeah, just a recall to the Fab 5 days, I guess.
I seen a tweet that said, like, is this really the worst? I can't credit the tweet. But I seen a tweet that said, is this really the worst timeout that Juwan Howard has ever been a part of?
Amazing. Yeah, man. It's like, yo, dog. Yeah, if you have a reputation for choking it, you don't have a lot to. You don't have a lot. Clayton Kershaw wasn't allowed to talk shit until the Dodgers won the World Series. I'm sorry. You gotta, get some bling on your finger, and you can say whatever you want. Like if Tim Duncan just came out, if Tim Duncan decided to rewrite the rules of basketball, then he would have permission because he's got fucking 5.
Juwan Howard's got like the one he snuck in.
Yeah. He's got like the towel waiver fucking title with the Heat, probably. He has one of them. All
right, so since it is this podcast and it's all racial, or sexual, we gotta talk about some pussy on here again. This has been a minute since we talked about some ass. Like Like we've been having like all these like real intelligent discussions about race, and like I'm just like, oh, the bitches though, nigga. Like, I'm holding it in, and I'm like, I want to. Well, I don't know. I want to get to Kim and Kanye, but
maybe the Michigan Wolverines women's basketball team will have a fight, and then we can. And then we can get into
no, but that's you getting off your sexist takes.
Yeah, that was. You can cancel me for that one, I guess.
Matt, can you do your WNBA joke for us one more time?
Oh,
from your first set?
No, I will. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna just say it. I'm gonna set it up. This was 18-year-old Matt, just awful stand-up comedy. And here's the real thing about it. I did this joke at like the Black Student Union talent show. So it's just all other black people. I'm the whitest guy in the room, and I get up on stage and I say, hey, you know what the WNBA stands for? Women not being attractive. The fact that I made it out of that fucking room alive is nothing short of a fucking miracle, dude. It's like, who is this fucking lanky motherfucker coming in?
I had a lot of moments like that when I started doing comedy. Well, because I started doing comedy in the Bay Area where it's like everybody, because I started doing comedy in 2010 and it was a lot of like, you cannot talk about the homeless. They have struggles. Don't make jokes about them. Yes, they make your life inconvenient, but their life is inconvenient. I'm like, nigga, what? And so, yeah, I said a lot of, I don't want to say the worst thing. I did make a joke, but it wasn't how I could relate to it, and I was a little upset. I made a joke about a black man who got shot by the police. And I don't even remember what I said, but it was about me like, damn, so I guess they just looking for, and whatever I said, and everyone's like, oh, I'm like, nigga, this is about us. You know? And it was a room full of black people that just, remember like, because when you have a room full of like black people just judging you while you saying some shit on stage, it's oh, like, nigga, you feel like the Fresh and Fit podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you feel like you didn't just let yourself down. When you feel like you let your entire people down, like, it's just, it is a dehumanizing feeling. But, yeah. Well, on that note.
On the note of.
It's a 2016 Atlantic article.
Oh, you got the
Oh, we got the quote. We got the quote.
Obama,
Danny, give it to us.
Obama is talking about let Putin play himself, basically.
Is that what he said?
Can you give us a direct quote, please?
What's the quote?
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here.
We talked for like 20 minutes. You should have highlighted some shit, man. Like, you live here, nigga. Like, you fucking.
So here's him quoted directly.
Okay.
Right? The fact is that Ukraine, which is a non-NATO country, is going to be vulnerable to military domination by Russia no matter what we do. And then the Atlantic is saying Obama's theory is simple. Ukraine is a core Russian interest, not an American one. So Russia is always going to have be able to maintain escalatory dominance in that situation, and they pushed him on that. So what is this view? Is it neoliberal? He's like, no, it's realistic.
Oh yeah, I mean the Russian creep on the Ukraine has been happening for
right.
Yeah, it all history major dumb bullshit. Basically, what it comes down to is Russia has one major port that it can import and export shit out of year round because all of the other water around it freezes in the fall and the winter. So they want to.
You know exactly? I'm a little geography nerd. Is it near Alaska or is it near? Where's it near?
That one port is kind of, I believe it's like actually northwest, like not remotely near the United States or anything like that. They want to take over Ukraine so that they can have access to their ports, basically. And it
would be like a defensive advantage.
Yeah, global commerce bullshit. Yeah, defensive stuff.
Well, here's where I'm getting, like, he's saying let him play himself, because he's like, Putin acted in Ukraine in response to a client state that was about to slip out of his grasp, so a perceived threat.
Right.
And was going to lose control there. He's done the exact same. This is Obama talking. He's done the exact same thing in Syria at enormous cost to the well-being of his own country. And the notion that somehow Russia is in a stronger position now in Syria or in Ukraine than they were before they invaded Ukraine or beforehand is so fundamentally misunderstood. And he goes on to basically say, like, we should just let him go broke, build all this ill will from the rest of the globe, and isolate him economically, and basically they're fucked in the long run.
Let your friend make that mixtape. Let it bomb on Spotify.
There you go.
Let him try to fuck your girl. Let him try to.
Yep, just let him.
Let his whack ass bitch try to sell the little Naked Pyramid scheme. What's it called again? Tummy tea? I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Like, cause you know, be these bitches, they be like, hey, I'm selling this. And then like when they don't sell enough shit, they go, well, I guess I have fake friends.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You can look up The Obama Doctrine by Jeffrey Goldberg, April 2016 on The Atlantic under politics.
3 half black dudes coming for that ass, Putin. I think we covered everything we need to cover.
Yeah. This has been the Let's Unpack That podcast. I've been your host, Lyall Behrens, with my co-host,
Matthew Ryan Anthony Duckett the first.
Nigga, don't do that bullshit Maximilian did where he had like 3 names. It was this comedian named Maximilian Robert Lockwood in Santa Barbara. He was fucking annoying. Like, shout out to him, but he was annoying.
I think he lives here now. Yeah. I've been Matt Duckett. Thank you.
Thank you. That's been our show.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, DJ
Rex.
Illa. Right.